If you've ever thought humans can't possibly be this dumb, congratulations, you're wrong. Today, we're talking about people who tried to cheat death, and death was like, bet. From a man who played real-life Dracula a little too well, to someone who literally robbed a gun store full of armed customers. This is peak stupidity with a tragic twist. Welcome to Fun Amazed, the only channel that turns epic fails into life lessons you'll pretend to remember. Smash that like button like it's your enemy's car mirror, subscribe for weekly proof that natural selection is alive and well, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss a single brain cell departure. Let's count down the top 5 Darwin Award winners Volume 11, because the struggle for survival has officially entered clown mode. Number 5. Death of Dracula. It was Halloween night, and somewhere in a college dorm room, a dude thought, what if Dracula? But method acting. This guy, let's call him Chad, because of course put on the full vampire getup. Cape? Check. Fangs? Check. Dumb decision incoming? Double check. He wanted to really sell the part, so he slid a thin pine board inside his shirt and thought, hey, I'll stab myself with a knife for dramatic effect. It'll just stop at the board, right? Right? Except physics. And common sense. And the concept of not hammering a knife into your chest. So Chad taps the blade in with a hammer. Just a little tap. Tiny tap. Spoiler alert. The knife goes through the board, right into his heart. He stumbles out to the party, cape fluttering, gasping, I really did it, and collapsed. Like a horror movie with zero budget and even less brain power. Halloween, 10 out of 10 for commitment. 0 out of 10 for survival skills. What's the most unhinged costume you've ever seen? And if someone said, let's make this realistic with props, are you running? Number 4. A Gun Named Lorena. Arizona man. 3 words that always mean something magical is about to go horribly wrong. Our dude walks into Walmart, already a dicey start, carrying a gun in his waistband, without a holster, just freeballing it next to the frozen pizzas. And while perusing the meat aisle, because of course it's the meat aisle, the gun starts slipping downward. So he reaches into his pants to readjust. Big mistake. Because in the process, he pulls the trigger. Kaboom! Right through the groin. He shot himself in the junk, while surrounded by sausages. Paramedics arrive to find a man down, surrounded by pork, bleeding from the bratwurst region. It's both tragic and thematically appropriate. Guns don't kill people. People who carry them next to their unmentionables in public grocery stores absolutely do. Would you rather get shot at Walmart or be the person next to the guy who did? What's the weirdest thing you've seen in a store that made you rethink humanity? Number 3. Struck speechless. Let's set the scene. 1:30 a.m. Interstate 80 in California. 2 guys get into a minor fender bender. Most people would pull over, swap insurance, maybe argue a bit. But these two? They took it to a new level. They exit their cars and start arguing. In the middle of a freeway, in the dark, with traffic still flying past. Spoiler, it doesn't end in a hug. Enter a poor Mini Cooper driver trying to avoid the wreckage. Swerves, fails, and absolutely obliterates both of them. Boom. Double Darwin. Now, they're not arguing over who caused the crash, because they're both very deceased. The lesson here, if you think yelling in traffic will make things better, congrats, you played yourself. And got played by a Mini Cooper. And yes, the Mini driver was sober and just unlucky, because dumb people don't just take themselves out, they traumatize everyone else on the way down. Have you ever seen a road rage moment so ridiculous it deserved an award? And if you were a ghost watching your own dumb demise, what's the one thing you'd tell the living? Number 2, robbery. Wrong time, wrong place. Alright, this one is so dumb. It loops back around to being impressive. 1990, Washington. A man walks into a store to commit armed robbery. Only problem? That store is a gun shop, full of armed customers, with a marked police cruiser out front, and an on-duty cop drinking coffee at the counter. Did he turn around? Nope. Did he ask himself, hey, maybe this is a bad idea? Also number. He walks in, pulls his gun, and yells, this is a robbery. 2 seconds later, the cop spins around like it's Call of Duty. The clerk drops the espresso and draws, and the customers, all strapped, pull out their own weapons. Everyone was armed. This dude brought a gun to a gun convention. He was immediately shot and removed from the gene pool. No one else was harmed, but the floor definitely needed mopping. Imagine being that one guy who decides to start a shootout in the one place where literally everyone is trained to shoot back. If you had to pick the dumbest place to rob, what's your top choice? And do you think this man was doing performance art or just really that dumb? Number 1. Autoblato Australia, 1990. A man sees an old Bedford tip truck parked outside a recycling plant. And what does he want? The engine. Just the engine. You know, the 800-pound hunk of steel that normally requires a crane and 3 people to move. But this guy? Nah, he's got a great idea. He'll crawl underneath the truck and just loosen it from below. No safety gear, no backup, just good old DIY fatality vibes. So he's under the cab, removing bolts like he's speedrunning stupidity. And then, surprise, gravity does its thing. The engine falls directly on his face. And just like that, this human version of a Wile E. Coyote plan was flattened into history. But wait, it gets worse. Police later found a pool of vomit under a nearby bush, meaning he had an accomplice. Said accomplice watched it happen, then noped out of there like a Scooby-Doo extra. But here's the final punchline. The manager of the plant later said, "If he had asked, I would have just given it to him." That's right. He died trying to steal something that was literally free for the asking. And do you think his accomplice still has engine trauma? Or is he bragging at parties like, "Yeah, I almost died once too," by association? And there you have it. 5 people who turned poor choices into permanent solutions. Each one a shining example of how the universe will correct stupidity with extreme prejudice. Which story made you lose the most brain cells? Drop it in the comments. And tell us the dumbest thing you've ever seen someone try IRL. But bonus if it involves fire, explosives, or lawnmowers. If you laughed, winced, or had an existential crisis, make sure to like the video comment, your favorite story, subscribe for more darkly hilarious fails, turn on notifications so you don't miss the next round of natural selection. This has been Fun Amazed. Stay weird, stay alive, and remember, if it starts with "watch this," it's probably a Darwin Award in progress.